Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm really sorry there's been another delay in me making a video. There's been a big gap between the last one and this one. There's been lots and lots going on in our lives, but also we went on holiday. We went to Spain for 10 days and we had the best time. But it did highlight something that I really want to talk about in this video, and that is the unpredictability of autism in toddlers. You think you know how situations are going to go, and then they don't go the way that you thought they would at all, for the worse or for the better. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about our holiday in this context and explain the things that we found difficult that we weren't expecting to, and the things that we found really easy that was kind of a surprise for us. In case you are new to my channel, Dexter is my 3.5-year-old son. I say 3.5, he's like 3 years, 8 months now. He was diagnosed with autism when he had just turned 3, but honestly, we'd noticed quite obvious traits from just after 12 months old. He's amazing, he's intelligent, he's loving, he's beautiful, and he has autism. It's just a fact about him. I am no longer sad about that. It's part of who he is. Firstly, I want to talk about things that posed challenges that we weren't expecting them to. Dexter coped fine with the airport. However, he would not walk in the airport. He would be carried in the airport and he would go in the buggy, the stroller, whatever you want to call it. But he would not walk. And this was the same in the hotel corridors. He would only be pushed in the buggy or be carried. That's fine, I just carried him, but it was really, I don't know why. Also, something we weren't expecting, when Dex was at home, he will pretty much drink out of any cup other than the cups they have in his nursery. He won't drink out of those. But we've just recently as well, got him onto an open cup. Prior to that, he was always quite distressed if he spilt anything, so he wouldn't even try and drink out of an open cup. On holiday, he would only drink out of his cup, and if we tried to show him, look, it's the same juice, and poured it into one of the hotel cups, no, he was not having it. He would bring us the juice bottle and motion for us to pour it in, which is amazing communication, non-verbal communication from a child that didn't communicate at all 18 months ago. But it was really frustrating. We had to make sure we had his cup with us at all times. Before we went on holiday, we'd spoken to Dexter quite a lot about the holiday. Without that expressive language, it is difficult to know exactly how much he understands. And I would say, Dexter, do you want to go on holiday? And he would nod really enthusiastically, like he really wanted to go. And you would say, Dexter, do you want to go on an aeroplane? And he would nod again, seem to get really quite excited. Now, I think a lot of Dexter's understanding is still kind of picking out keywords, so I don't know if he was just nodding to the keyword of aeroplane, almost like, do you like the aeroplane? Yeah, I don't know if he was just nodding at that part of the sentence and didn't realise he had to actually get on it. But when it came to, we walked to the bottom of the steps and the kid freaked out. Oh, I felt terrible. He really was frightened. He didn't want to get on that plane. Big queue behind us. I just had to carry him kicking and screaming down the aisle, and I felt terrible. It was really unexpected. I did not think we were going to get that reaction from him. He was obviously scared. I got him sat down, got his tablet out, and he started to calm down a bit. He has been on a plane before. He's been on a plane lots of times before, but I don't know, he was scared anyway. We were taxiing out, went to take off. No problem. It's like he didn't even notice. He didn't even look up from his tablet. In the air, absolutely fine, interacting with me, playing on his games. Another thing that posed a challenge on this holiday that wasn't so much of an issue on the last holiday last year was the social expectations now that he looks older. At this age, they are expected to share their toys. They are expected to join in with games for kids, and they are expected to respond when somebody talks to them. I don't have a problem with explaining Dexter's neurotype, how he is wired. I love talking about the way his brain works and all his little quirks and all his strengths and the positives, and I just love discussing him. Obviously, that's why I have a channel about him. But it's not always appropriate to have a big discussion about Dexter. I explained where I could, but sometimes I just had to let it go. It was the same with, he was very excited, he loved the holiday. But when Dexter gets excited, He vocally stims, and it's quite loud. I'll try and find a clip of it. It's just him having a good time. It's just him expressing his excitement. But it causes people to stare, and I'm not blaming people for looking over. I would have looked over prior to having Dexter. It sounds unusual. These people aren't necessarily thinking anything bad, but it is something that makes you go, oh, what's going on over there? However, I want to go over to these people and explain everything. I want to tell them about how wonderful Dexter is and why he's stimming and that why it serves such a purpose for him. But A, not that many people are interested. Most people are only interested in their own lives and their own children. And B, there's not always time to have that discussion anyway. And it can also seem kind of intrusive. Somebody's just glanced over and I'm going over to have a big long discussion with them about autism. It just doesn't work that way. So it was kind of a lesson for me in sitting back and just allowing certain situations to happen and realising I don't always have to step in, I don't always have to explain him to people. Those people will have forgotten about it in 5 minutes anyway. Another thing I found quite difficult as a parent, if you watch my channel you'll know I have a younger son as well, Seb. He is just turned 2 and he is quite different to Dexter. He's very, very sociable. The thing I found quite difficult was seeing Seb get so much out of interacting with the other children on holiday. A lot of the time we feel sad about things our autistic children aren't doing for us. We're sad for ourselves. I have to try really hard to remember that if he is happy, my needs aren't important. I'm the parent, okay? I can deal with my emotions. If he is happy, playing on his own, then I should be happy as well. Socialisation will probably come in time. To what degree, I'm not sure, but I have to be led by him and just ensure that he's happy and that he's aware of the things around him, but not force him into social situations that he's not comfortable with or not interested in. However, Seb has needs as well, and it was just hard seeing him around the other children because he doesn't get that from his brother. I mean, it's not the end of the world. We can socialise Seb in many other ways. He has cousins, he goes to 2 different nursery settings, so we make sure that need of his is fulfilled. However, it would just be nice if he had it from his brother. So, moving on to the positives, because as you know, this is a very positive channel and I'm all about the celebrations of the achievements and the good things, and there's always good things to celebrate, and on this holiday there are lots of good things to celebrate. Bear in mind this is a 3-year-old with no verbal language. It's hard for him. We give him as many tools as we can to communicate his needs, but he finds it very difficult. So being in a new place and having needs and not being able to communicate them must be quite stressful, but he did really, really well. He loved the beach, he loved the water, he really loved the water, he loves the kids' disco, he just had the best time, and that's what it's all about, right? Another thing that surprised us was his eating. Dexter is quite the picky eater. Dexter eats pizza and Dexter eats burgers, so I thought we would be fine. There was none of that stuff at the dinner. So I thought, what if I disguised various things as burgers? And it totally worked. At one day he had a chicken curry burger. He ate well at breakfast, he ate yogurts, he ate pastry. If he recognised it as something he would have eaten at home, like generally, that general category of food, then he would eat it. I was so over the moon about that. Another thing that was quite a nice surprise for us was how interactive he was with us. Sometimes when we take Dexter to a new place where he's enjoying himself, he gets very immersed in what he's doing and the surroundings. So I was sort of expecting him to go distant and retreat into his own little world a bit, but that didn't happen. He interacted with us loads. He was very smiley, he was very engaged. Don't get me wrong, we still had to pick our window. You learn when it's worth trying to engage with your child and when there's just no point because you're not going to get anything. But in those windows, and there were quite a few of those windows, we got lots of lovely engagement and instruction following, and it was just great. So I think all of this that I've spoken about in this video highlights the importance of really seeing our children as the individuals that they are, with individual strengths and challenges, and not making assumptions. When you start making assumptions about a child, that's when you can put restrictions on them, sometimes subconsciously. The holiday also highlighted for me that as the parent of an autistic child, you really do have to be very open-minded about situations. You have to be ready to change things up at the last minute. You have to just be able to go with the flow. Let your child take the lead. As the parent of an autistic child as well, you have to, not even just an autistic child, but any toddler with social communication difficulties, you have to learn how to read between the lines. You have to learn how to interpret behaviours, to really observe and constantly question, what is this behaviour telling me? All behaviour is communication. And it sounds difficult, but as the parent, you are the expert in reading your child. You are their expert interpreter. Always observe, always question, always try and find patterns in behaviour, always try and link behaviours to situations. It's just a slightly different way of parenting. It just takes a bit more practice because it's not the typical journey, but it's not a worse journey, it's just different. These children are amazing and they are worth every last bit of effort that we put into raising them. So thank you for watching this video. It was lovely to have some family time and reflect on what was really important in all of this. It's easy to get so sucked into reports and meetings and milestones and goals and therapies. Just time away as a family is just really, really important to reflect on what actually matters, and that's all spending time together and all having a great time together. I will not leave it so long next time. I want to start uploading a lot more regularly. I just need to wait for work to calm down just a teeny tiny bit, and then I'll be back to making them more frequently. So if you would like to subscribe to my channel, we'd love to have you over here as part of the community. Bye!